Knowing the mean, the median, the mode, and the range is of no real value if you cannot use those ideas or those concepts in a word problem. In a word problem, remember, our first idea is to read the word problem carefully. Let's get right into our mean, median, mode word problem, and we'll take a word problem from this book here, Strong Foundations in Mathematics, written by myself, and we will go directly to page 114, and we'll try to examine and deal with a word problem right here. But before we get into the word problem directly, there's a very important step that we can use, a very important technique that we can use to deal with a lot of word problems. Students tend to have problems with word problems simply because they do not organize their information properly. Best way to attack this idea is to use something called a graphic organizer, such as this. And in this graphic organizer, what you will see, it have a few components that if you do one part at a time, it easily organizes the data and allows you to be able to clearly know what the question is being asked. So for example, up here, we are looking for the understanding. You look to understand your problem. You find out what is the question from the information that they give you. Then you need to find out what the information is needed. And all of these, you would write them down. Then you plan. So you must find out your question first, write it down, find out what information it is that you need in order to answer the question, write that down also. Plan. How am I going to organize that information that I need to match the question? You might sketch a diagram, you might remember the technique to solve the problem, like this. Then you finally solve. A lot of students try to solve the problem first. You only solve after you have done your plan. And finally, you check your answer to see if it makes sense. It's a crucial step that a lot of students tend to overlook. So if we get to our word problem here, we will try to look at number 3. And number 3 says this. It says, during an experiment, a botanist measured the heights of 10 seedlings and obtained the following: 2, 2.1, 1.9, 1.7, 2.2, 2.1, 2, 2.1, 2.2, and 2.1 centimeters. What is the mode? So we have 3 questions to answer. First question is, what is the mode? So if we go back to our graphic organizer and we recall what our graphic organizer says, the first part is the understanding part. What is the question? The question is, what is the mode? What information do I need to find the mode? If you recall, the mode is the data item which occurs the most. So we will deal with the problem in that fashion. If we're looking for our mode, the data item which occurs the most. So there's a 2, there's a 2.1, there's a 1.9, there's a 1.7, there's a 2.2. Notice nothing has repeated yet. There's a 2.1. Oh, wait, we had a 2.1 already. So that represents 2 2.1s. Then there's another 2. We had a 2 already also. Here's another 2.1. Now we have 3 2.1s. 2.1 is in the lead. Then we have a 2.2. We had only one 2.2 before. And now we have another 2.1. So we have a 2.1, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Therefore, the item which occurs the most is 2.1. Therefore, our mode is 2.1, the item, the data item which occurs the most. The next question that we are asked to find. Question asks, what is the mean? And notice again, the first thing I do is read out the question. What is the mean? That's from my understanding part. What information do I need in order to find the mean? Remember, the mean is the sum of the data items divided by the total number of data items that I have. So if I find the sum of all these data items, so my mean is the sum of the data item divided by the number of data items. If I find the sum, remember sum means to add 2, 2.1, 1.9, 1.7, 2.2, 2.1, 2, 2.1, 2.2, and 2.1, the sum comes out to be 20.4. Now 20.4 divided by the number of data items that we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 data items. So 20.4 divided by 10 is 2.04. A point of note, this should be an easy calculation to do, because remember, if you're dividing by a 10, you simply move your decimal point one space to the left. Therefore, the mean of this data set, or the mean height of the seedlings, is 2.04 centimeters. And the final question, what is the median height? Remember, the median means we are finding the data item which is in the middle. And our idea is we must always place our data items in order first, and then find the one that's in the middle. So if we look at our data set up here, we place them in order. If we place them in order, we have 1.7, followed by a 1.9, followed by a 2, followed by another 2, followed by a 2.1, followed by a 2.1 again. Then we have another 2.1. Then we have yet another 2.1. Then we have a 2.2. And finally, we have another 2.2. There were 10 data items, so let's check to make sure that we didn't forget anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're okay. Now remember from our previous lessons that if we are looking for the middle value and we have an even set of data items, there are going to be two numbers in the middle. Let's check through to find out which numbers are in the middle. Cross out one on this end with one on this end. Another one here with another one here. Another one here with another one here. Another number here with another number here. So notice we have these two data items in the middle, which makes my problem extremely easy. Excellent, excellent. 2.1 and 2.1, remember we need to find the mean of those numbers here. If we go through the idea of finding the mean, we add both of them together and divide by 2. But if we do that, we'll get the same number. So the data item which occurs in the middle is actually just 2.1. That's my median. So if the two numbers in the middle are the same, there's no need to do any calculation. You just simply write back that same number, because that is the number that is in the middle.